Hey guys, this is Casper from Team Orion here. Today I'm here with Drew
Yeah, boy.
and we are interviewing Justin from Team Infinc.
Hello.
Hello, good sir. Okay,
Hello.
so all it is we're just going to be asking you a few little questions today regarding your nationals experience. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so I will start off with the first question. Why did you decide to play Dinomorphia, Nats?
Dinomorphia is a deck that I've been playing basically since it was released in Battle of Chaos a good while ago now. I want to say like 18 months, 2 years ago. Um, and ever since like the sort of right releases for like cards were getting released, like in like prior to the set coming out, I saw the cards and I thought they looked really cool, so I ended up getting the core. Um, and just played it ever since. And obviously, when we got Rexterm and Frenzy in Dimension Force, and then subsequently Intact in Cyberstorm Access, the deck really became strong. Having the Ash Negate in Intact was really, really needed. And obviously, I've got to the point with the deck now where I just know everything like the back of my hand, and it was just the safest deck choice for me for the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like it's become like one of your like best but also most favorite decks just to play.
Yeah,
Just because nobody really expects it, do they? So
that was one of the key points of me taking it. Like, who's going to expect Dinomorphia of all things? Like, and
nobody's
it's
no
like, and I
nobody.
think I got that in like the round one I had at nationals and whatnot. But obviously, I think we'll discuss that later.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Right.
Um.
Okay. Um, I just wanted to ask, in terms of like your build and stuff like that, because we can see your build now. What is your like hardest matchups throughout the tournament? You'd say.
Yeah, so the hardest matchups naturally for me are like Ubel and Mekanko. Like, obviously Ubel on a meta stance, but like Mekanko is like a really rough matchup. Just because they reflect damage back at you, and Rexterm does nothing. Obviously, like tough matches in the meta, be like Snake Eye and whatnot. But I would say in terms of like the deck's natural weaknesses, Mekanko and Yubel are really rough, and especially knowing that Yubel might be arrived, that's why I had a loving defender in the side.
Yeah, boy.
And obviously with me maining Super Poly, I just thought, you know what, it could come up. So I took the chance. Obviously, I had my main Super Poly package of Garura, Mudragon, and Dragostapelia. Um, and then if ever the Ebo match came up, I could just side in Loving Defender.
Oh man. So talking on about that anyway, you made it to the feature table. Um, let's talk about that. What was going through your mind at that point as soon as you got asked to the very end of winning it?
Yeah, it was crazy. So what happened was, in case like people don't know how it ends up coming about. So after I finished round two, obviously there was that wait for round three pairings. Obviously they got uploaded. I sat down in front of my opponent, who I think you know as well, Drew, don't you, Ben Simpson?
Indeed.
And that. So sat down, and then you've got one of the judges who came up to us and basically said, "Do you guys mind being on feature?" And we both agreed, and we got led over through the curtains and feature area we were. And obviously mid game, obviously there's a tension because I've always felt like feature matches are just regular old matches and whatnot, but this is like my first feature match at this level. So yeah, that nerve started kicking in pretty much from the off. And obviously having that sort of thing at the back of my mind, thinking people are going to see Dan Morphy on a feature, which is going to be really weird for a Nats.
Yeah.
And then obviously losing game one was a bit rough. Lost to Daryl, I think. So that kind of helped for Ben. Thankfully, I ended up obviously winning on my game two. We both got a P minor in game two for one little moment with Rexter and Ariana. But yeah, game three was absolutely insane because Ben flipped Eradicator virus on me, which if he'd have called spells instead of traps, I would have been really done for.
Yeah, watching that
And
live, based on what my opinion on Ben is, like, 'cause looking at your build now, you would think you'd play more traps, but you actually play kind of like nearly balanced out spells on traps. But he just
yeah,
thought it's a trap deck, it's gonna be traps, let's go for it. But man, when you
yeah,
revealed your hand, it was like, oh Jesus.
To be fair, it wasn't bad of Ben to call traps in that situation
yeah,
because
I
God
get that.
knows what God knows what you could have had in your hand. But
Yeah, yeah,
it was just so unfortunate that he called traps at like the worst moment possible.
yeah. I know it's like famous last activation. But
Uh,
but it was like
lab players be flaming right now for real.
yeah, like double lightning storm and super poly in that hand was insane, especially like when I resolved shifter.
Ben did
But
not look happy.
no, he didn't. And then I got that feeling like I was watching I was re-watching the match a couple of times over the course of the weekend after it happened, and hearing like Farfa and Tom go kind of mental about me having double lightning storm and super poly was really funny.
And you only play the two of as well.
Yeah,
You open both.
I mean it is at two, so to see them both in the opening hand was really really crazy.
Oh man, what was you feeling after he declared traps? So like, was it like a sign of relief and like you just like, oh man, praise the Lord, kind?
I tried not to let out that sigh in terms of like thank God for that.
Yeah,
But like I was like, don't crack now, otherwise you'll know what's in your hand to a
yeah,
degree. So obviously eventually I was like, right, time to reveal, and then boom. That's
oh,
when moment will have just hit him be like, oh no.
yeah. Well, I noticed as well throughout the game after you revealed and everything like that, you held Super Poly for so long. Like,
Yeah.
was it like a strat of yours? Like, was you waiting for the right moment? Because there was times where you
Yeah.
could have used it.
There were times, yeah, but I wanted to hold it as long as possible to see what the options were. Uh, Eventually, like it got to a point where I did get the opportunity. If he did call spells, I would have just chained.
Yeah,
Uh, Obviously to get it out of the hand, probably would have pitched Lightning Storm like I did anyway.
yeah,
Just because I know that was going to get hit. And then obviously hope to resolve Frenzy on the following turn because that was the one trap that got hit off of Eradicator in the end.
yeah.
Obviously there was an alternative potential play, but obviously the main play was to get off the spells, and thankfully that worked.
Oh man. So you did win and everything like that. After winning, go on, tell us how you feel. We know how you felt, but tell everyone how
Oh,
you felt.
oh, like there was a sense of being lucky and whatnot. Like I stayed in my seat a bit longer than Ben did. Ben obviously quickly got his stuff and went out and got let out through the curtains. But then obviously I had to do the interview afterwards, um, which obviously would have got put on YouTube as well. And it was one of those where I hate doing interviews. So obviously I was trying to give answers like pretty quickly and short,
Yeah,
but yeah, like joking with the judges afterwards, with one of them having the Kashtira block cards to the side of the table and being like, for this one Kashtira player, and whatnot. So having a bit of joke there, and then having the microphone put on me and stuff. So really cool experience. Didn't think it would happen. Playing Dinomorphia at Nats and getting on feature and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that is really cool. Okay, so I do want to talk about your debt ratios and stuff like that and what you played. I'm just gonna get started with your side deck. I obviously we saw the shifter come up game three against Labyrinth. But I wanted to know how the rest of your side worked out for you during nationals.
Yeah, so the side deck, believe it or not, the MVP of that side deck, genuinely was the mind controls. Because I ended up facing three Snake Eye players on day one. I beat all three. And mind control did come up really clutch. It also came up in my first round against Unchained. Um, where my opponent, the Unchained player, he had two Wave Viking Caesars, and I have no monsters on board, so it was like mind control to take one normal Amorphia, get the effect off, and then link it to an SP to get rid of the second. So mind control helped me get that extra body. Then there was the Snake Eye matchups where I could force out an SP to banish, so I had a clearer field to go at, or just steal an Appaloosa to protect my Varizia from maybe the Flamberge. So there was multiple different things that mind control really did help me on. Storm obviously really helped me in the feature match for that game three. Didn't really come up too much apart from that. Believe it or not, I never really. I don't think I even sided in evenly at any point during day one. Obviously, U-Ball never came up because I never faced U-Ball at any point. Drolls never really came up either. I think I sided it against Melodious when I had that in round four, but it never came up. So Shifter only came up once or twice. But yeah, MVP would have been the mind control in my opinion.
That is absolutely solid, to be fair. It's a solid side deck, considering you were going into like a national tournament with like loads of different decks. Also, I did notice that you was siding. Well, you made crossout actually.
Yeah.
Tell me about the crossout. Being at three in the main.
Yeah. So over the course of me playing Dinomorphia, it's always been more of a toss up between crossouts and gravediggers. Gravediggers you would think is a lot more accessible considering I play wannabe in the main. Because you would potentially hit that off of a wannabe in the end phase. However, I think crossout being more of a staple, it just looks a bit nicer. But obviously, it has the same intended use as gravediggers. So yeah, having three from Rarity 2 really helped me to kind of polish off the rest of the deck and doesn't just apply to stuff in the hand. Can apply with imperms as well, which is really nice. So if I was against a deck that imperms like my Farizia, I could just chain cross out. So yeah, it
Yeah,
had a bit more
just
flexibility in my opinion than Gravediggers for what I wanted to protect.
yeah, just be able to have that option as well, just to negate any hand trap that was coming in your way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, could you have done anything a bit differently with your deck after looking back at it now? Or
Um, I'm not sure. Like the deck, did really well for me, and there was like very few points in the tournament where I bricked. Like, and even if I did brick, they weren't like really, really bad bricks. Pardon me. Um, I think the two losses I had were to Melodious and Tenpai in rounds four and five respectively, and I did like kind of brick against Melodious both games, and then there was like the game three against Empire where I bricked. But apart from that, the deck was really, really consistent in allowing me, like, especially on the first turns, to set up that Rexterm board, which if I like can protect the Rexterm as well as stopping like the spells and traps from doing things with like Judgment or Iron Thunder, and maybe even the Sonic if I have that available to me, then it did really well. And I'm struggling even looking at the list now to see an improvement to a degree. Obviously, I'll take any suggestions on board. But yeah, at the moment, I don't see too much wrong with it.
that is fair enough. Um, don't think there's anything else I'd like to ask. The wannabes are pretty funny though.
Yeah, Wannabe is really cool. Wannabe is a two. I think it's really good as a two. And whatnot because it acts as like a prosperity for the deck. In the end phase, it gets around Lightning Storm and Duster. So if it was like the opponent's turn, you go end phase, wannabe, you might hit a domain, and if you go into your main phase, you can maybe set up Rexterm on your own turn, and whatnot. So it's really cool and whatnot. So hopefully it'll stay in the main. Hopefully, if we get like maybe some better traps in the future, maybe some more Dinomorphia support in Konami, then yeah, maybe Wannabe can stay for a bit longer.
Also, would you ever consider playing that really broken trap that Labyrinth played in like the feature later on?
Eradicator.
Yeah, the no the
Hmm.
banish trap. I'm not sure if you know which
Um,
one I'm on about.
I'm not entirely sure if I'm being honest with you.
So you banish from your extra deck, and then you can banish your opponent's field.
I'm not. Um, if I'm being honest with you, I can't think of the card you're on about. But if I can find it, I'll give you a personal opinion later about it.
That's fair. That's all. That's all the questions from me. Unless you want to add anything else, bro.
Um, what would you say your favorite moment is at Nashville?
Um, many favorite moments to be fair. Like obviously getting the time to hang out with my team Infinc. Um, there was like me and 10 others from the group. Really like really good team. Some really good players. There was one lad on the team as well as me. Who like obviously I had the issues with Neuron do me over really badly for a day two spot, but there was another player in our group who did qualify for day two. He was on 10 pi, which was really cool. And it was a debut Nats as well, which is really cool. But obviously, I think obviously meeting Farfa and obviously talk to him about Dinomorphia and him calling me Giga Chadwick was really funny. Um, and yeah, I think generally just the feature match win was the moment because everyone that I know is just talking about it to a degree, and it was just really surreal to happen.
I think everyone would feel the same winning that as well,
Mm.
because you got loads of people watching, not just within like
Yeah,
Nash, online as well. It's just like, jeez.
it's just it's like that rewatch factor. You can just search it up again and maybe just look at it once again to maybe relive the moment, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, man. Um, that is it from me, and I imagine that's it from Casper. Um, but apart from that, I appreciate you coming on, speaking to us about your deck, your favorite moments, and everything like that.
Yep.
However, would you like to give any shout outs to anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few, I will say.
Let's get your
First
toilet
off,
roll out.
first off, there's Geek Retreat Blackburn. This is my locals. Been going there ever since the shop opened. I think 2 or 3 years ago. Great base of players. Really good players. Obviously, I know you guys from Geek Bury,
Yeah,
Jesters in Stockport. There's other places I've been to, Ultimate TCG in Accrington. But also in Think for being really cool and having me on their team and being really supportive with deck choices and guiding me through the game. Obviously, the members of Team Orion for obviously being at my locals and supporting me with games as well, giving me suggestions on being a better player, basically. Because aside from the feature match, you'd obviously think I'm all right, but realistically, I'm not as that well known. I'm not like really good or anything.
well, this is your
Uh,
time now. You've hit that feature. This is your time to become known.
It's
yeah,
time to rise up,
and,
bro.
and another big one, Squire VWG, someone I know really well, great friend, good content creator,
Be sure to
and
check him
whatnot.
out, guys.
Yeah, and obviously you guys for interviewing me. Obviously hate interviews, like I said earlier, but always good to do something a bit more productive than any work interviews, so to speak.
Indeed. No job interview, this, that. Oh, man.
It's the real interview.
Yeah, I think one more just real quick. just as a kind of a praise out there. But the guy I mentioned before, who was on Tenpai, he got to day 2. I just want to shout him out, Zach. From Infinc, he like honestly, it was his debut Nats. Hadn't been with the team that long. But for a debut Nats doing as well as he did, I think deserves a bit of a mention as well. So I don't know if you guys will get to meet him in the near
Well,
future, but obviously if you do, you'll find him really cool. He's a really good guy, so I think he deserves a little bit of a mention as well.
we may slide into his DMs and get an interview for him as well. You never know.
Yeah, he's a bit more secluded than me,
Yeah.
but hopefully he'll be all right with it. I can give you his details, but obviously I'm not going to say it on here.
Yeah, no. But apart from that, appreciate you coming on, Justin. Thank you all who's tuning in, watching. But that is it. Peace.
Peace.
Adios.